Hello. So my next video here, I'm going to be doing this Reed Tech Hemi joint mod. It's a clutch cylinder push rod bushing eliminator for the 88, 97 Ford 250, 350s. They get wore out. The clutch swing arm gets a lot of wear in it. You can see the bushing and then the pin, and it's the clutch pedal swing arm, and it wears right out and you get bad shifts. And so I'll be switching this thing out. I got it from Diesel Ply there out of California, about 17 bucks US, and whatever it cost to ship to you, it wasn't much, about 30 bucks Canadian for me. And here we go. I'm just going to show you underneath kind of where it is, and you have to go into the engine bay to take some of it apart, but it's not going to be very hard. It's just tight for a guy. So this thing here, there it is, you see that? Whoops, here it is. And I had just taken it off, but mine comes off by hand, and I discovered that. So it sits like it kind of wanders itself off and sits like somewhere like there, and you get just that's not even a good example of how it was shifting, even like there, and it shifts, and you just get a whole bunch of slop and play in your clutch pedal, and that's completely unacceptable. So that's how it was shifting for the longest time, and I shoved it on further like so, and I went for a drive, and it really cleaned things up. But of course, that's just going to walk off and fail me again. And anything that just comes off like that, well, that's no longer good. And you can also see up here, there's the notch that's formed in there. You see that? Yeah. And just like the picture, so it's a clear example of what they're talking about, and I'll be switching that out. So you got to take this bracket off, and I got to take this push rod off out of the clutch cylinder. I got to go into the engine bay, pull that off, and take this starting switch off. Anyways, so here we go. Look at that mess there. I got a 18 mil on that swing arm. I'm taking it off right now. It's a knuckle buster. I positioned it back on to show you, and in the instructions they say it's tight, and they ain't kidding. So you gotta get it underneath here and get it underneath there. What I did too is I would push the clutch pedal in, and then that would give me additional areas to pry up on, because what will happen is when you pry on it, the whole thing can tip, and it's splined in here, and it doesn't want to come off. So you gotta find a little spot up here, give it a wiggle down here, and work it off. And they say be patient, and they mean it. They have some advice about vice grips, but I don't see how you could get them in there too well. Maybe someone else. I just wiggled it, and then I got her off, and she comes off. It's splined, but it's not splined in like keyed, so you can lose the position. I didn't match mark it, rookie move, but I know that I can put it back on fine, because I'll just pull the clutch out to the out position, and anyways, and that'll be that. So next is this thing. All right, here's this thing here. Just got to drive this pin out. If it's welded, they say grind it out. In any case, it's not hard to take that thing out. She's out. I used a pin punch, and I just drove her out into this hole here. I had to grind one side of it. The pin side, you can see. So you want to drive the pin out, not the pin through. Just if there's any questions on that. Okay, we got to take this guy off. So it's at the firewall, 13 mil. I got one off already. The other one will need a wrench. You can't really get past that cap. This is this model. The other models, I guess, are inside the cap, some of them. Anyways, that'll be up to you to figure out, but they're all 13 mil in size. Here, I squeeze these guys together and separate it and get this push rod out. Ignition sensor, or whatever this thing's called, that's out. You just pry that thing off and then just pop it off. No big deal. It comes off easy. The rest is done in position. You don't disconnect the lines. You just cut this in the directions they say. Use a hacksaw and cut it at the eye there, maximizing your shaft length, and then file it down with a file. No thanks. I'll be using this, my 90-degree air grinder here, and I'll rip it off, and then I'll give it a shine up with a flap disc. That's how I'm going to do it. But in any case, however you get that off is up to you. Got that thing cut and ground up. little piece I cut off there. So if you can see, you salvage as much as the eye as you want, as you can. That's all they're saying. And then you just grind it down, file it down. They're asking you to file it. I ended up using this. I don't know if you got a Dremel. 90 degrees is really what you need though, because it's on, you know, it's kind of tight in here, and that's a much handier tool anyways. And then you get it so she fits on there, which this does. Anyways, believe me, please believe me, it does. And 1/8 set screw here, so that'll go in after the fact. See, I thought about putting a TIG weld on there after, because I was afraid about this set screw being adequate, but actually it will be, because the thing is always getting pushed, and then this thing pushes back when you depress the pedal, so there shouldn't be any resistance on it. It's always wanting to push back. That's the idea of it. So the set screw is adequate, and so that is all I'll do. So next I'll put this thing back on. You guys don't need to see that. Put it all back on, snap it on, shove it in, do up these 13mm bolts, and I'll jump on the other side and we'll put this together. Loosey goose, and we'll put her in. All right. See, there it is there. It's all loose. Put together loose. Nice, bud. And now I'm going to run the nut on and tighten everything up, and then make sure the set screw's tight. Should be good. The clutch is in the out position, and then I match those splines on this bracket to where it fit in the out position, and I found where it needs to be. It's not hard. You won't find it hard either. Yeah. So after it's tight, I'll let you know, and I'll push it a few times, and then we'll see how she performs. If I feel like it needs a little spot weld, I'm going to do that. All right, well, this hemi joint clutch mod is done. You can see I lost the nut, if you're like, hey, why is that nut different color? It shot under the van, couldn't find it anyway, so I just had another one. So that's cool. It works out. I went for a drive, and it's the clutch feels altogether different now, of course, but it's good. Did it fix the shifting? A little bit. You bet it did. Especially the downshift into third. Second's not a favorite gear on these older trucks. You know, you can match the speed with a rev up if you can catch it. But basically, second, you got to be coming in pretty slow to bring it into second. And you just kind of learn how to drive these old beasts and kind of limp them along. I did overfill the transmission from a top fill, and that maybe was okay, but it helps out a bit. But anyways, I think it turned out pretty good, guys. It's fairly easy to do. I wouldn't give it a second thought if you had a sloppy bushing. Just go ahead and do it, and you'll feel a lot better about it. All right, take it easy.